We are going to discuss the project management myths in the framework of the CMM and the CMMI, and these are trademarks of Carnegie-Mellon University. And as you have heard, I have a strong affiliation with the Software Engineering Institute. Okay, so the first myth that we're going to talk about is the one that says it's okay to finish every task on time. We're going to discuss this with a little story of a good friend of mine. I came to the United States in 1993 after my Master's of Engineering to work for an international oilfield services company. And we would look at process. We're just 4 guys, but we're looking at process for a company of over 50,000 people with about 15,000 engineers all over the place doing development, places like Austin, Corta Madera, Sugar Land, Stavanger, Delft at the time, then it was closed. And this happened in 7 countries. That's where I met Pete B, and he had an excellent record as a project manager. He had 12 projects, all on time, all under budget. And I thought that with my education coming from another type of real world, that was extreme. So we used to call him the master of the universe of project managers. We worked together for 2 years. He went back to work, as he said, to real work as a project manager in California, still with the same company. The company within the holding group was since outsourced, and he's these days working in Pennsylvania, I think, or New Jersey. So this is Pete's story. One day I tell him, look, Pete, 12 projects on time, all of the time, this is like a little bit, you sandbag, right? And he said, no. He was very offended by this, but he also told me how he did it. So I'm going to reveal Pete's secret now, but it might not work for you. These are the conditions that were present in his work environment. The managers managed the teams, not just the project. It's not that they were project buffs, but what they really did was they worked with a team internally, and they even had part of hiring and fighting for the team. Also, they could share members of teams when, for example, testers were a little bit too busy. They could demand people from other teams to be shared for a couple of days or things like that. But mostly, individuals could be made accountable. And I found that even though in the software industry we tend to believe that individuals can be made accountable, in many an occasion, people just cannot fire the people that need to be fired. So the big if then is, if you're really running your teams, then this, what I'm going to tell you, is going to work for you. So first part of the secret is probably something you're already doing. So planning the project involved all stakeholders, mainly the team, but also, his suppliers and within the organization, somebody that did as proxy for the user community. So Pete would then present his plan in detail. This was not a kickoff, half-an-hour meeting. It was a full-day session. And then different teams would group different pieces of the project and start reviewing them and reviewing requirements, and everything will happen on the same day, same room, different corners. And from what he got as input to this exercise, he entered it into his plan, but he added input from his own history data. He did not blindly follow the estimate of his teams. Rather, he did consider who was doing the estimate. Programmers had this tendency, this group in particular is used to overestimate. These guys are used to underestimate. Something that we find very often today in the concept of ideal time and real time in Scrum projects or Kanban projects, Pete already knew about with his own intuition. So the first thing then was try and get the estimate as close as possible to what might be the actual. So Pete also was great at risk management. His whole attitude was he would manage risk and let the project manage itself. So everything that you do when you're managing a software project is risky, really. You don't know what's going to happen. So in Pete's own words, it's you do not manage the project to the plan, you manage the project to what is possible at the time and steer it towards the plan. That was a great intuition I got, that you're really on a ship, you're crossing an ocean, and conditions change all the time. So what you got is the plan, but what you're trying to do is moving towards the general direction of your original plan, not keeping, accurate track to that. And this is why this is such a great intuition, because since all these situations take place in a project environment, you get probability coming into play. Pete took the estimates of what people told them as the mean value of a distribution, and this could, for the sake of this discussion, we'll take it to be a normal distribution, a Gaussian curve. And the estimates would be the mode of the distribution. And there is a chance of making that date, but there's also a chance of being late. So Pete used to think of their estimates as the mean of a normal distribution, sometimes a little bit skewed to the left or the right, but let's call it a normal. And what they're estimating is the point of highest probability, not the one that has the probability 1 of being true, because that would be the extreme right of the point of the curve. And what they were estimating is the point in the middle, exactly. So the project is now, you can think of this as a network of tasks. It could be, services queuing, being offered at certain points by people that were executing the task. And if something, got out of sync, some products would be waiting to be processed by the tasks. So this is what we do when we write our projects and put them in certain Gantt charts. There are no loops. It's acyclic. It's an acyclic network, and it's basically what you get is a good idea of which is the critical path. So the critical path is the set of tasks with longest duration, with no slack, and which anything goes late in that path, any task that is late will make the project late by the same amount. So this is an example of a critical path. So you have 3 tasks, A, B, C, and A, B, C, where A and B both must proceed C, but cannot be done in parallel. A takes 3 days, B takes 7 days. B is critical because C cannot start until B is finished. So A has slack. A could actually, if it's going to be finished in 3 days, could start 4 days late without delaying C. So there are some works which I'm not going to, ways of which I'm not going to go into of calculating a critical path and any of these